Shut up and sit down.
Culture of Pop, our Christmas episode. Everybody can't wait for this one.
Christmas/Star Wars episode number 20.
We have to talk about that. We have to talk about that. It
comes up.
So this is our Christmas episode. We're going to talk about some Christmas films, but of course, the thing that everybody's talking about right now is the rise of Skywalker. So Fred,
I saw
opinions, spoiler free, because I haven't seen it yet.
Spoiler free. There was predictions that I made that actually did come to pass. There were predictions that I made that did not come to pass.
Okay.
There were things the internet was right about. There were things the internet was wrong about. All in all, it was an enjoyable fucking movie. It was really, I loved the hell out of it, and that's just a first impression. I just saw it yesterday, so it's going to take a little bit to digest this whole thing, because there's a lot there.
Yeah.
Chris Duckman's review was not wrong. There's a lot to digest in this fucking movie, and I'm going to have to go see it again. Luckily, we have extra gift cards, so it's paid for.
One good thing I have heard about it is the fact that it is fun. Especially for like Star Wars fans, it's a fun movie and it's action packed.
And I'll say one thing I'm going to agree with Chris Duckman on again is that Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, is the most interesting character in this entire trilogy.
That's what I've heard from just about everybody. Yeah.
His arc is amazing.
Okay, and what about Rey?
Rey, I have no complaints.
Okay,
I have no complaints. They answered the questions that I had. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but they did draw attention to the issues that everybody's been having with the character of Rey.
Yeah.
She was a little more relatable in this. She showed a little more emotion in this. It is kind of, they do try to kind of explain why she is as powerful as she is.
Okay, that's what I've heard. Yeah, I have heard that.
And again, there are things the internet predicted. There are, but you know what? The predictions that you've heard that were true were out of context when you heard them being spewed at you by people who just want to hate.
I agree.
When you take these aspects that did come true in context with the movie, it's perfectly fine. It fits.
Yeah.
It all fits.
Like the guy that I've talked about before that I won't name his channel or I won't name him, but like I said, he's a Star Wars huge time fan. He's got all kinds of Star Wars stuff. He's like, we're always wearing a Star Wars hat. That's a clue. A lot of them do. But and he's done nothing but bash it from day one.
Then I wouldn't call him a fan.
Yeah, and the thing is that he and another guy went and saw it, and I watched part of their stuff, and some of the stuff they talked about I had already known anyway, and like you said, it's probably out of context. So
very much. So.
Yeah. Yes. But I just couldn't believe the vitriol, the hate. I was like,
I know.
I mean, did you even give it a chance at all?
Every comment section that I've seen with The Rise of Skywalker since before the movie even came out, since long before the movie even came out, has been filled with people just spewing hatred and bile all over this fucking movie and calling it the worst movie ever. And nobody had even seen it yet. People in our society today love to hate so much that they can't even wait to see if they actually hate the fucking thing before they start hating it.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but you're exactly right, and it spans off to everything in the world, not just pop culture. But people are they're ready to get the protest signs up, to hate it, to anything. It's like anything that comes out. I mean, Mark Hamill got in trouble for some stupid tweet that he did, over the weekend, and he had to go on and apologize. I'm like, are you kidding?
I watched part of the red carpet thing, blue carpet thing for this. I don't know when they changed that, but
okay.
I watched part of the celebrity blue carpet thing in Hollywood for Rise of Skywalker, and when Mark Hamill came out, he said, "You know what? I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy it. But if you don't, keep it to yourself."
Yeah.
That's all. It's okay to not like something, but when you start insulting people and treating people like shit that like the thing that you don't like, that's just being a dick.
Yeah, it is.
That's just being a dick. If you don't like it, keep it to yourself, or find like-minded people to fucking bitch with.
Yeah, and that's what they do, and then that's when it spews onto the internet and everything else. Because they all gather together. And
I had another point that I was going to make, and I forget what it was. I do know that I have my list here. Everybody seems to be doing
let's go for the list. This is Fred's list of his in order Friday. I don't know why I was going to say Friday. Star Wars, the Star Wars trilogy or trilogy
of trilogies.
Trilogy, yeah, okay, trilogy.
Trilogy of trilogies plus 2.
Yes, exactly. So you are including the other two, Solo and Rogue.
Yes,
okay,
I put those
okay.
on this list. So, I don't think anything tops the original trilogy.
No, I don't. I
don't think anything.
yeah.
I mean, there's people who disagree with me, but I don't think anything tops the original trilogy. So I put the entire original trilogy at the top of the list, starting with The Empire Strikes Back. Mm-hmm. The Empire Strikes Back is my favorite Star Wars movie of all time, and I think there's a lot of people who agree with that.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for?
It's
I have no words.
unmakeable, unremakeable, and I think a lot of that has to
unsurpassable?
do with your childhood.
Yes.
I mean, I've seen it in your childhood and stuff.
Yes,
in
because there's
impressionable
probably
age.
people. There are people who put A New Hope above that, simply for the fact that that's the first one they saw when they were younger.
Yeah.
And then Empire Strikes Back was dark and depressing when it came out. And
Yeah.
it wasn't the same. But I put that at the top of my list. The Empire Strikes Back first. Return of the Jedi I put second. I didn't put A New Hope until the third movie on my list.
So okay.
So it's
So Return of the Jedi second.
5, 6, 4.
Wow. Okay.
Empire Strikes Back.
I do like Return of the Jedi, except for the Ewoks.
Well, and that's one thing I was going to say about The Rise of Skywalker without getting too spoilery.
Yeah.
It's essentially Return of the Jedi with 97.6% less Ewoks.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. And I'm not complaining like a typical fan about the Ewoks. I really didn't like them when I was little
Actually,
either. I
99.9.
didn't.
99.9. I'm going to adjust that a little bit.
Oh, jeez. Is there a dead Ewok in it?
No,
Okay.
but that would be awesome. I wasn't not a fan of the Ewoks. They kind of fit, I guess.
Yeah. I'm not saying they didn't
questioned
fit.
them. I never questioned them the way that some people did
Yeah.
because I was a kid at the time. You know,
I didn't even like them as a kid. But
1983, I was like 4.
they were cute, and I know Warwick Davis was in one of those costumes, so
Yeah.
I
And
did
he was
Warwick
11.
Davis. So
He was 11 when that movie came
yeah,
out.
I know, right?
So yeah, that was the original trilogy at the top. Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, because continuation of that story. It just picks it up and goes.
Yeah.
And I put A New Hope in third spot because it was him feeling things out. It was the special effects weren't quite there. The writing wasn't quite there yet. It just evolved as it went along.
Yeah.
But I have to give props to that because it was what started the entire thing.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, the next one on my list, number 4 on my list, Solo.
Really?
I thought Solo. I have to agree with Jim on that one. Solo is some of the best Star Wars I've ever seen.
I don't know if I'd put it that high up, but I did like it more than Rogue One. I liked it more than probably some of the prequels, stuff like that. So,
and here's where we get into different territory here. I actually thought that The Rise of Skywalker was the best of the of the sequel trilogy.
the new ones?
Yes.
Okay.
I did.
Really?
So I put The Rise of Skywalker after Solo.
Okay.
After that, The Force Awakens, because J.J. Abrams just knows what he's doing with Star Wars. He
Yes.
really does, and he's proven that with both those movies. Revenge of the Sith, I'm going to put at the spot after The Force Awakens. I've come to reappreciate that movie. All the hatred that keeps getting poured all over Star Wars since Disney bought it has made me take a step back and say to myself, I don't want to be one of these hypocritical bastards
Yeah.
that just spews hatred all the fucking time at something he claims to love.
Yeah.
So I put aside all the aspects, and there are a lot of aspects from the prequels that I hate, but I've put those aside. Now I'm just going to enjoy them for what they were.
Yeah. And I can agree with you on Revenge of the Sith. That's probably my favorite out of the trilogy, with the exception of the Darth Maul lightsaber fight in the first one.
I have to watch it over and
yeah,
over.
exactly. But yeah,
the
I would
sound
definitely
off.
put the only thing, like I've said before, is the CGI was way too much.
Yeah.
Like I said, the lava
And it was-
fire scene was just out of control.
It dragged on longer than the ending of Return
Yeah.
of the King. You know,
Yeah.
That movie had like 18 endings,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this just dragged and dragged.
Yeah.
It's like, we get it, man. You're fucking fighting. Go to the lava already.
Exactly. Yeah.
But-
But yeah, I agree with you on that. That's probably the best of the prequels. Yeah.
It really was. The second one that I chose from the prequels, and the prequels are all lumped together, kind of like the original trilogy was at the top of my list.
Okay.
The second one of those, or the one right after Revenge of the Sith that I would put is Phantom Menace. And the only reason I put that above Attack of the Clones,
I thought you really liked Attack of the Clones. No.
as time
That seems
goes
to be the
on-
one that really mutes
That's-
for people.
that's the
even
great-
more so than, like you said, Phantom Menace.
That's the great thing about Star Wars, though. As time goes on, this list evolves. This list changes.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Because different sensibilities throughout different points in my life see these movies differently.
Yeah.
You know, when I first saw the prequels, I fucking loved them. And then about 10 years later,
Yeah.
I fucking hated them.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I'm learning to reappreciate them again.
Yeah.
And the reason I put The Phantom Menace above Attack of the Clones is because that's the movie George Lucas wanted to make. I have to give him credit for that.
Yeah.
He made that movie. There was expectations built up since Return of the Jedi in '83. But there was no real internet at the time to pepper the
Yeah.
expectations.
Yeah.
And it really was just George going by the seat of his pants,
Yeah.
saying, "This is the movie I always wanted to make." The reason I put Attack of the Clones next is because that movie was him saying, "Oh, you guys didn't like that? Well, do you like this one? There's less Jar Jar." You know, and Revenge of the Sith, I could swap that back and forth from where it is now to under Attack of the Clones, back and forth over and over.
Yeah.
Because that movie was locked into place.
Yeah, true.
It couldn't be anything more or less than what it was.
What it was, yeah.
Because he had the two movies before it that he had to adhere to, and he had to connect it all to a New Hope. So there's nothing else that movie could have been. The fact that it was pulled off as well as it was is what's impressive to me.
Yeah.
And that's what puts it
Yeah.
above the rest.
Yeah.
Then I put The Last Jedi at the second to last spot, and I do still love that movie. One more thing that I agree with Chris.
That's at the
Stuckman
last
on.
spot again? Did you say it?
Second to last spot.
Oh, second to last spot.
Second to last spot.
Second to last spot.
Yes. And one more thing that I do agree with Chris Stuckman on is that with episode 8, we could have just gotten rid of all of that Canto Bight stuff.
Oh, yeah, it was horrible.
It was. The next time I watch it, I'm going to just skip that.
Fast
stuff.
forward through it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And it was pointless.
And it has nothing to do with Rico. It has nothing to do with Tico. What's her name?
Rose Tico.
Rose Tico.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with Finn. They were, as good as they could be in that scene. I'm sure they kind of felt silly too.
They could have skipped right to the fucking code breaker and gone back to the fleet, and I don't know, that whole sequence just kind of soured the movie's taste for me.
Yeah, I
The rest
agree.
of the movie was decent, though. I didn't mind any of the other choices they made with the characterizations or the storyline. I know.
It's hard to call it the Skywalker saga when he's not really.
Well, he's not the only
in
Skywalker.
it. I realize that, I know, but but then if you say he's not the only Skywalker, are you talking about the other Skywalkers, or are you talking about like Leia and
In that movie alone,
Are you talking
there were-
about canon Skywalkers or like the extended universe Skywalkers? 'Cause there are.
Extended universe doesn't count.
Okay,
If we're going to go by extended
I was going to say
universe,
because
I
the
thought-
movie's not including that shit. So
there was a series of comic books that got released after the prequels came out.
Yeah.
Long after the prequels, actually. It was actually shortly before Disney bought it, called Star Wars Legacy, and it takes place, I think, like 40, 50 years in the future.
Okay.
Or something, and there's
Yeah.
a dude, Cade Skywalker.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. It's exactly what I was
And
thinking
that's
of.
the one with the red Twi'lek with the Darth Maul tattoos all over it.
Yes.
And that was actually a really goddamn good story, but it doesn't count anymore, so fuck it.
Yeah, and that's why I was asking. That's why I was curious is which Skywalker. And I mean, well, okay, go ahead. I'm not going to ask any spoilery type stuff, but
I've only got one more on my list, and that is reluctantly placed there. So much so that it had to be last, no matter what form this list took.
yes,
And that's Rogue One.
yeah,
I barely even consider that a Star Wars movie.
it's a space
It's a
opera type movie, but
space-
maybe not. If you took
it's
the
a-
Star Wars name off of it, maybe it would be a
I've
little bit
already
more
said
credible.
many, many times before that the only character in that entire movie that had an arc was the goddamn droid. Everyone else is the exact same character at the start of the movie as they are at the end of the movie. There's no
Yeah,
growth.
you're
There's
right.
no change.
You're right.
And another YouTuber, Jenny Nicholson, she had a video that detailed all of this, and I couldn't disagree with her when she said people would come to her and say, they would say, well, what's the point in doing character arcs if they're all going to die anyway? And she said, well, I guess I can't argue with that. I mean, if you want to make your movie bad on purpose,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
because
I mean,
that's the
you've-
whole point of telling a story.
Yeah, you've got to progress some. You've got to, and there's certain leaps and bounds that just can't be taken in a 2-hour time
You
set.
know? And it was a pointless movie anyways. So that goes at my last spot, and that is my list. I bow.
Thank you, Fred, for his Star Wars list. You'll hear mine at some point when I see this film. I'm planning on going to see it Tuesday with my wife. I hope.
I
It just
remember what
depends.
I was going to say. There was a thing that happened during the showing of this movie that that made me look at it in a different light than I probably would have. And as we were walking into the theater from the parking lot, there was a group of guys, a group of children, like 5-year-old children,
Okay.
with just one poor fucking guy. I felt so bad for this guy wrangling these 20 kids
Oh, geez.
into the theater, and I'm like, oh fuck, I hope they're not coming to see Star Wars. Of course they went and saw
Yes,
Star
they
Wars.
are.
They all sat in the front row, and it occurred to me while I'm watching this movie that The Rise of Skywalker, for probably all of these kids, is the first Star Wars movie they're ever going to see in the theater.
Yeah, that's
Going to pepper their opinion of this movie for the entirety of their lives.
it's good that you say that, because I can remember, was it they re-released the Star Wars films in the theaters before the prequels, right?
In 97, they released the
Okay.
special editions.
So
yes.
I took my 2 oldest boys to go see those from the start. We saw every one of them in the theaters, and then when the prequel time came, they were excited for it. So I can remember they were they probably hold those with a pretty fond heart,
You know?
because it was about that age, that
And
age
it was
where they were
adorable, too. It
yeah, exactly.
Because
Yeah,
there were moments when these kids were like excited as hell, and then there were other moments where they're like,
yeah.
being boys, and I couldn't help but remember what I felt like at that age when I was seeing Star Wars for the first time.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see any of these in the theaters, any of the original movies in the theaters when they were coming out, because my mother hated theaters. The first movie I ever saw in theaters was Batman '89.
Really?
That was because my mother dragged. No, I'm sorry. I apologize. The first movie I ever saw in theaters is something that I'm going to be bringing up for our holiday movies.
Okay. You want to wait?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for that. I'm gonna wait for that. So Batman '89 was the second movie. I never got to go to the theater when I was a kid. Cause
See, that's all I did.
Mom
I
hated
mean, yeah, that's my mom and dad took me to the drive-in, took me to the theaters, and my uncle actually
Drive-in,
owned
yes.
a theater in Indiana.
Drive-in, yes. I have fond memories of the drive-in, although I always sat outside because that was when Mom and her guy chose to just sit in the car and chain smoke through every fucking movie.
Yeah.
With children in the back seat.
Oh, of course. Well, you did that back then.
You did that back
Why not?
Well, why not is the lung problems that I
Yeah,
have
exactly.
now. That's
And
why
every
not,
other
but
problem that people have in the world with
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Beside
Oh,
the
I
point,
agree.
though. Beside the point, though.
Yeah.
I never got to go to the theater, so seeing these kids just enjoying the hell out of themselves during this showing of Rise of Skywalker, I think made me enjoy it just a little bit more.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I mean,
different perspective.
yeah, it is a different perspective. It's nice that you had that kind of what do you say? I don't know.
Well,
connection.
it's an experience. A
Connection. Yeah, a connection
it's
with
a
that.
vicarious connection.
Yeah,
It's like I
exactly.
was experiencing it as I am now, and I was vicariously experiencing it through watching these kids experience it.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
The first time,
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's exactly what the movies are intended for.
Right.
And it's become like, if you see the people bitching on the internet, they're all, in their late 20s, 30s or whatever. And, most of them, some of them weren't even alive for the original series,
most
which
of them
really
weren't.
weirds me out. It's like,
it's
you weren't even
that
there.
thing that changes as time goes on.
Yeah.
Your perception of the movies changes.
I think what it is, is this people who were introduced by their parents to the original trilogy.
can see that.
And then, they got so much, they had the same experience as we had,
Yep.
just not in a theater when it actually happened, but
And through different societal views too, because society's changed a lot since
Oh,
the
yeah,
movies first
exactly.
came out. So watching A New Hope today, if you were watching it through fresh eyes, you'd see a completely different movie than if
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you saw it in 1977.
yeah. It's funny you should say that, because there's often times when I'll just sit and think, man, I would love to re-see that movie. There's actually movies
That's
on
the
my
thing, isn't it? You can never see it again for the first
on my
time.
Voodoo list, I'll buy a movie that I'm really excited about, and I'll wait a long time to watch it, because it's like, I know this is going to be good and I want that good experience, but it's
Doesn't
like,
that suck though when it's not good?
yeah. It
It's
rarely,
like, God damn it! I had my hopes
yeah.
up.
That rarely ever happens when when you're looking at something like like the Joker, or like
Right.
something like that is going to be really good. You're excited to see it. You want that first time experience. So I think that's one of the things that really, especially with the Rise of Skywalker and these kids that you're talking about, or any kids around anywhere. I mean, they're going to get that first experience.
It was great too, because this guy's like walking into the theater. All the kids are way up in front screaming, and he's just trailing behind saying, "Don't fucking fight. Don't touch your brother. Don't hit your sister.
Yeah, of course.
Sit in your seat.
Oh, been there, done that.
Don't come running at me for popcorn." And none of the kids are hearing him. And I looked at him. I said, "Dude, I do not envy you."
Yeah.
He fucking lost.
Man,
it.
the first couple of times
made
I
him
took my
smile.
kids, I had that same, I had that same reaction. And then you just kind of realize there's a certain age where you take them and they'll be able to behave and appreciate it, or, whatever. And kind of like everything else you see on video at home.
And I think this is why Star Wars works so well for our show, actually, the culture of pop, why it keeps getting brought up so much.
Yeah.
And these kids embody that. It creates the culture. It has
Oh,
been
yeah.
creating our pop culture since 1977.
So with the completed trilogy now, or the
Trilogy
trilogy
of
of trilogies, with the completed trilogy of trilogies, would you say that this is not the final, like it's a good final note for a franchise?
For the Skywalker saga, yes.
Yes, for
Yes.
the whole entire Skywalker
They
saga.
are not done by a long shot.
No, I agree. Yeah, I
They're
know
going to
that.
be making Star Wars movies until our grandkids have grandkids.
Yeah,
But yeah, this was a nice conclusion to the Skywalker saga, and I can't wait to see what they come up with next. I know they're going to have an Obi-Wan series hitting Disney Plus sometime in 20
Yes.
or 21, probably 21 if I'm being honest.
yeah.
And The Mandalorian is fucking awesome. That's
Oh, God, are you kidding me?
I didn't put
It's incredible.
that on this list because this was just movies.
Yes.
But if I had to put that on this list, it would probably go after Return of the Jedi
I could agree with that completely.
at the number 3 spot.
This is fresh, unique Star Wars from a different look.
Completely different look.
Completely
And you know
different,
what?
but still
I got
so
a
much
friend,
Star Wars.
I got a friend who's just obsessed with all the lightsaber battles and just loves poring over those. And I said to him, you know what? The Mandalorian is some of the best Star Wars I've ever seen.
Yes.
And we're on episode 7 and there hasn't been a fucking laser sword yet.
Nope.
Not one.
Nope.
And I don't even care.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't care. Remember in Solo, it actually kind of upset me in Solo, which, spoilers by the way, at the end, when that hologram of Darth Maul shows up to talk to Kira, and I don't even remember what he fucking said, but after he's done saying what he said, for no fucking reason, he just says, and then turns it off.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, because Star Wars has to have a fucking laser sword.
Of
in it.
course. At some point.
We have to. Yeah.
But yeah, the
By the way, here's my
Mandalorian.
laser sword.
The Mandalorian, I was just watching it and I was going to talk to you about the fact that here's my difference of opinion as far as just one aspect of the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian, unlike, I still don't agree with some of the humor that was in Force Awakens. I think it was forced. Force Awakens.
I can't disagree.
And
honestly,
some of the other ones, I think it's kind of forced. The Mandalorian, I realized in the 7th episode in, I just said to myself, this show earns its humor.
does.
It's not forced. It's not. I mean, when Baby Yoda comes ducking in the last episode out of the ship, the top of the ship, and then he gets up. I mean, I was like, that's funny and that's original. And
I even fucking bought it when Baby Yoda comes walking out and uses that force ability.
yes, exactly. Yeah,
that one force ability.
Yeah. You talking about the?
I don't want to spoil it. For
Okay,
anybody
yeah.
who
Let's not
hasn't seen
spoil
it,
it. Let's
so.
not spoil it.
I like to. Well, you know what? When we
I don't know how you could not spoil it though, because there's like so many lists. If you just search Baby Yoda now, there's like 1,000 best Baby Yoda.
You're not wrong, but I don't want to be the guy.
Yeah, I know. I understand.
You know?
Because even my daughter, who doesn't like Star Wars at all, she loves Baby Yoda.
Everybody
so,
I know somebody I used to work with at Padrone's Pizza who just keeps sharing Baby Yoda memes, and she's even said before she's never seen one single second of Star Wars. Like, okay,
He's the
this
cutest
thing is
damn
just
thing in
it.
the world. He's
They
just
knew.
adorable as
They
shit.
claim they didn't know this
I
was
don't
gonna
think they
take off.
did.
They
Not
fucking
this
knew.
big.
I
don't think so.
You don't give something adorable fucking gizmo eyes like that without the intention of selling plushies. And now they got the same
be
thing
right.
going on they did in 77 where they're late with the fucking toys. So they got to
Yeah.
give out vouchers for the fucking plushies for
Yeah,
Baby
exactly.
Yoda. Or the child, as we're supposed to call him. Actually, no, I liked the meme that said, what am I supposed to call him, Kevin, till he gets a name?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
We don't even know what species he is yet.
Right?
There was. Oh no, I won't go into that. Okay, are we done with Star Wars? Are we Star Wars free now? Or
That works for me. Aside from mentioning Jedi Order and how fucking hard it is,
Yeah,
and how I'm
it's
gonna
tough.
have, like I said to you, I'm gonna have to keep a hairbrush next to the fucking couch so I can shake it like that fucking meme. Like,
it's tough. It's really it's great.
otherwise, I'll put
But
my
it's tough.
controller through my TV.
Yeah.
And I'm on like the second. If I take it a difficulty level lower, then it's going to be on you can't fucking die. So just have fun
Exactly.
mode.
Yeah, the old Barney mode. I remember
Yes.
my
That's
kid
a
when he
good
was
one,
little
yes.
had a Barney
like
game
that.
on the Genesis, and you could not die. No matter what you did, you could not die. It was so hilarious.
You know, he plays it enough. I guarantee the parent can kill him.
Oh yeah, that's true too.
Run over with the car.
But okay,
yes.
so I just want to bring up one more thing before we talk about Christmas movies. We're coming off on a night when Eddie Murphy just hosted Saturday Night Live for the first time in 30 some odd years or whatever, or even been in the building besides when they had the anniversary.
I had no idea about this.
Yeah, and
curious
it
now.
was amazing. Okay, the two things I'm going to say is in the beginning of the scenes, he's a little you can tell he's a little rusty. Even in the monologue, which the monologue's cool. You even have to watch that because it includes every African American performer that was huge on Saturday Night Live.
Nice.
And it's really cool the way they do it. It's kind of funny. And his monologue was good. It seemed like, probably not jokes that he had written with everybody else, not jokes that Eddie hopefully is going to tell in his stand-up, but it was good. It was really, really funny. And he was a little rusty, like he did Mr. Robinson, he did Velvet Jones, and he was a little rusty. But then, like
how long
in the
has it been
first
since he's been
few,
on stage?
but no, in the first few seconds, he was like, it was on.
Like muscle memory.
Yeah, and the best one that I could suggest to anyone, if you're a fan of Eddie Murphy but you don't like SNL or whatever, is they did a digital short about Home for the Holidays, and that's when you saw Eddie shine because he's an actor. He's always been an actor, and it's hilarious. It's so funny. So I think it's an the SNL digital short from last night, and I think it's called Home for the Holidays or something like that. That's the best thing to watch. But he did I haven't watched it all yet, but everything that I've seen so far with his doing, I couldn't believe that he brought back old characters like Velvet Jones. I can't believe. Do you remember Velvet Jones?
I don't remember Velvet
Do you
Jones.
want to be a hoe? Turn it. Oh yeah. Oh God, you've got to check out Velvet Jones.
Was this old Saturday Night Live?
Well, it was '80s, early '80s Saturday Night Live, I guess.
Because when I was watching reruns of Saturday Night Live as a kid in the '90s, it was on Nick at Night, and they cut out the musical acts.
Yep.
They cut out anything involving the current host for that episode.
Yeah, it was completely shortened. Yeah,
it was like a half an hour.
Yeah.
And they didn't have any of that shit.
Yeah, you've got to take a look at it. It's on Hulu or YouTube. Or actually, you can get it really easily on YouTube.
enough.
That's how I was watching it. But
Yeah, I do want to check it out. And I have one thing I wanted to bring up before we transition into the Christmas movies. My buddy Brian Bowers, if you're watching, you're probably not watching because you can't stand Star Wars and you skip past this shit when we talk. And I do apologize that we talk about it so much. But he's got a thing going on right now. He's got a GoFundMe going on to fund his own project. And it's an urban exploration and paranormal investigation thing that he's got going on.
Cool.
He's going to all these abandoned places on side roads and state roads in Ohio. Just run down houses and buildings and documenting these places as they fall apart.
he needs to go.
It's fascinating. He's going to have me along on a couple of them if I can find some time to do it.
If he, no, is it in? I think it's in Ohio, Helltown. Have you heard of Helltown,
Oh,
Ohio?
God, yes, I heard about
Yeah,
that. Yes.
I've always wanted to drive through there, but I
Right.
heard there's so much like the cops will follow you and everything at this point.
Well,
so
that's only because it's owned by somebody specific. I was looking into this. Somebody owns that place, and they actually hold tours of it. So
Yeah.
it's become an attraction.
it's a very interesting story.
It's like the tuberculosis hospital here
Yes.
in Lima.
Yes.
It's so popular that it's being monitored.
Yes.
You can't do that. But he's finding places, just old cemeteries with
Mm-hmm.
rundown shit from the 1800s. And he found an old farmhouse that had a freshly slaughtered pig in the yard.
Jeez.
That it doesn't look like anybody'd been
That's
there for
weird.
years. But yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, and we're going to be checking out a few of these places, and I'm kind of eager to go.
That'd
do
be
it.
cool.
So I
That'd
wanted
be
to give
cool,
a
yeah.
plug for this,
And-
and I'm going to try to remember to send you. You guys might have to remind me to have you put a link to this in the video description.
I will put a link to it, but also I want to tell everybody that we do subscribe to their channel too. So on the Culture Pop subscribes to his channel.
Okay.
So anything
okay,
that you
yes.
see on our subscription list or whatever is stuff that we promote, I'm going to go through and probably update it here soon. Like we'll put Chris Stuckman on there and stuff like that.
Nice.
So just go to our likes or go to our subscriptions that we have on our channel, and you'll be able to find out what we're endorsing or what we're at least appreciating.
Cool.
So
And so, do you think we can fill this last half hour with Christmas movies?
I think we can. I'm hoping we can. Do you want to bring the list up and see what happens?
Or do you 3 hours? I don't need a list.
By the way, Merry Christmas, everybody! Happy
Merry
holidays,
fucking
Happy
Christmas.
Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, all that stuff.
I almost got run over 4 times in the parking lot walking to fucking work the other day. So I'm gonna just throw a humbug out there, but I do love the movies. I do. You can still agree with the sentiment of Christmas without liking any of the fucking music or any of the fucking people.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, I ran into a few of those yesterday. A few of those people. Yeah, I don't mind the music so much. I guess because I'm away from it more. I kind of block it out when I'm in places now.
I can't.
I don't know how you can't because you worked in retail for so long.
It's fucking Chinese water torture at this point. It's just that drop's been hitting my forehead for 20 goddamn years.
I know. Okay, so let's hear about your experience of your first movie that obviously was a Christmas movie.
The first movie that I ever saw, my mother gave us, me and my cousin Chris, she gave us about $20, dropped us off at Cinema 123. Remember that?
Oh, yes, I do.
Right over where
Saw
Kohl's
many a
is
movie
at,
there.
and right in that fucking same plaza.
Yep.
And Home Alone, starring Macaulay Culkin, was the first movie I ever saw in theaters.
Nice choice.
Oh, right. I loved that. I still love that fucking
It's a great movie. It's
Home Alone 2. And Home Alone 2, it kept getting better. You know?
Yeah, they did.
Well, until they replaced
them. And Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2 are definitely on anybody's Christmas list as far as movies go. I really
like nowadays though they could double as Eli Roth movies. I'd like to see him remake those. You know?
Oh, jeez.
Well, I mean the shit he puts those fucking burglars through.
You're right. It's pretty intense.
I felt less sorry for the guy in Hostel that had his fucking Achilles tendons cut. You know?
Oh, dude, don't take me there. Oh, I hate hearing that shit. I don't want to hear that shit.
Sorry, Christmas.
But so Home Alone is on. Yeah, like I said. So let's go through the list. Well, I'm trying to think of some of the stuff that. Let's go back just a little bit.
How far are you wanting to go back? Are you talking like It's a Wonderful Life?
It's a Wonderful Life. I love. I was introduced to that by my parents.
That to your Voodoo, didn't you?
Yes, I did because it was a good price, and it's in the regular version, a colorized version, which I'm not into colorization usually, but I know what was done really well on that movie, so I'm gonna watch both of them.
Sometimes it looks good when they do it. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. And it's not that I'm not into black and white movies. It's interesting to see it from a different aspect, you know.
Right.
So, but It's a Wonderful Life is one of my favorites. I wouldn't say it's on the top, but I mean it's definitely one that I usually try to watch every year.
Believe it or not, I've never seen that movie all the way through.
Really, seriously,
I've seen it in bits and pieces. I've seen the whole movie, not in one sitting.
One sitting, yeah.
It's just because it plays on cable. Back when I had cable forever, it just plays on every other fucking channel.
Yeah, now they play it once a year because NBC bought it. Right. So now they can play it once a year. But yeah, I remember what before it was bought everybody. Yeah.
So I would catch like the first half hour here, or the last half hour there, the middle bit of it between jobs or whatever, you know, just.
Yeah.
And I never did see it all the way through. I might have to change that this year.
It's good. It's a good movie. It really is for back then and the sentiment that it gives. It's really good.
I agree. And that's a sentiment we need now.
Oh yeah. Tell me about it.
I say 2 days after I almost got run over 3 times in a parking lot because everyone's trying to go everywhere at once.
Well, yep. And as quickly as possible.
As quickly as possible. Fuck everybody else.
So
I don't care if I run over people.
Santa Claus.
Which one?
Do you like it? The first one.
What first one? There's so many fucking...
with Tim Allen.
With Tim Allen?
That's still one of my
Santa
favorites.
Claus.
Yeah, The Santa Claus.
See, because when you said Santa Claus, that's actually the exact title of a movie they had on Mystery Science Theater.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Not Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
No, I know which one you're talking about. Isn't Ed Asner in it or something?
No,
somebody's in it that was
one.
halfway.
This is like a Spanish fucking movie where
maybe I haven't seen
Santa
that.
Claus lives on a fucking cloud and that floats above the North Pole, and he's like, it's like his fucking place is just Pee-wee's Playhouse with like fucking it's weird. It's fucking weird. And he's got this whole big room with captive children from all the countries that sing songs from their fucking countries, and he sits on the fucking harpsichord just playing along with them. Get along in the morning, you know. See, that's one of my favorite holiday movies, but you got to have the guys.
Oh my
you got to have the guys making fun of it.
Yeah,
because otherwise you're not going to survive that one. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And Pitch shows up. Pitch is this fucking devil demon that tries to thwart Santa Claus' efforts and sway all the children that are good for now. But But Pitch is going to get him in the end, you know?
Yeah.
Little Lupita's got to steal that doll instead of waiting to see if she gets it for Christmas, you know?
Oh, my goodness.
That's what I thought you meant.
Yeah, no, no, not at all. Not at all. The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. That's always been one of my favorites. You
I
didn't like
like
it?
exactly one Tim Allen movie, and that is Galaxy Quest.
Okay, you don't like Tim Allen? Is that what you're saying?
Tim Allen bugs me in ways that I haven't found words for yet.
Oh, jeez.
Even back in his
That's
Home
one.
Improvement
I put that
days.
before Home Alone.
Really?
I really do. Yeah, I love that. Now the other ones weren't great. The second one was all right, but the one with Martin Short, that was like the third one was
They're
horrible.
stretching the premise after a while.
Yeah, they are. But I thought it was really clever. Like, Rose such a clatter, and the ladder is called by Rose
can
such
see
a. I mean, it's just the way they did the Santa Claus was really funny. I
It
mean,
was an original
really,
concept. I do agree with that. I just I don't like Tim Allen. He's like
I agree. I can see where you're standing.
in the '90s. He was what Will Ferrell is to me now.
Okay. See, I always liked. I watched Home Improvement and all that stuff. So maybe that's.
I did too,
I just came
but
from.
that was kind of forced on me because I didn't have control of the TV when I was a kid on must see TV.
I can say that the show doesn't hold up because I have seen it. It doesn't hold up well, but
And you can tell just looking at that little bastard. What's his name? Jonathan Taylor Thomas. You can tell just by watching him perform that he was a little douchebag off camera, and probably is a fucking little douchebag still today.
All I Want for Christmas. That's another Christmas movie. I think that's what it's called that,
was
he was
Jonathan
in.
Taylor Thomas
yes.
too, wasn't it? Yes.
And all the girls loved it at the time. All the teen girls loved that movie because I can remember we were renting it at Hollywood Video. And I remember because it goes back that far. And
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so.
Oh, I remember.
But let's see what else we got here.
Well, there's the one that nobody likes to acknowledge.
Okay, now which one are you talking about? Because I have a gripe that nobody's acknowledging the one that I think should be acknowledged.
Die Hard.
Yes, I acknowledge that one, but there's another one that I think, and I watched it last night, that's what I was going to say, that I think should be acknowledged even more.
Iron
Don't
Man
understand why it's never been put in the pot. Nope.
Not Iron Man 3?
Lethal Weapon.
Oh, yeah.
I
You were
have
mentioning that
no
last
clue
week.
why that is not in the... It starts out
I
with
don't
Christmas
think about it either.
music.
I watch that at any time of year because it's just an amazing movie.
Yeah,
I don't even think about the Christmas aspect of it until I'm watching
Yeah.
it.
I mean, the whole fight takes place in the front yard amongst Christmas stuff. And, there's Christmas stuff. One of the main scenes with Mel Gibson takes part in a Christmas tree lot. I mean, it's very much more Christmas than Die Hard, even though I do agree Die Hard should be a Christmas movie.
If you ask me, both those movies are way more Christmassy than the Santa Claus. I'm sorry.
I don't know if I can agree with you on that.
I need blood and violence in my Christmas.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's
Which
something
brings
that,
me to Black Christmas. No,
Oh,
I'm
yes.
kidding.
No, seriously. I mean, we can talk about that. What do you think is
Actually,
the
I
best?
haven't seen Black Christmas. I was just joking.
Have you seen any of them?
Black Christmas?
Like the original 70s one?
Nope.
Oh, you have to see that one. That one is so good.
I've heard praise.
It's
I
so
have
good.
friends that have praised that movie.
Now, I didn't see the remake, and I didn't see the other remake that came out this year, which I think flopped
I
already.
love it when they do that. It's like
Yeah.
they remade the remake of John Carpenter's
Yeah,
remake of
yeah,
The Thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to
I
see that.
think that one must have been a flop because I haven't heard anything about it since it was released.
But yeah, Iron Man 3 too.
Yes.
Iron Man 3
Yes.
is a Christmas movie. Technically, it's Shane Black. If it's fucking Shane Black, it's a Christmas movie. He sets all of his movies in Christmas time.
Does he really? What
Yes.
else has he done? I mean, I always know the name, but I can never remember.
I'm going to have to look a list up.
Oh,
because
geez, okay.
we're,
Do you know another one at all?
Not really, no.
Was he the one that did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
I don't
Was that one of his first ones? I
honestly
thought
don't
that's
know.
how he got his card on, or maybe I'm thinking James Gunn.
You might
I
be
don't
thinking James Gunn.
know.
You might be thinking James Gunn.
Because Kiss Kiss, not Christmas, but Kiss Kiss Bang Bang with Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer, a thin Val Kilmer, was amazing. It was, oh God, such a good movie. Such wordplay, such, action, good movie.
I don't know why people won't acknowledge Die Hard, though.
I think they're coming around to it. There's more and more people that are demanding it. And
I blame memes for that because
Yeah,
half the
the
people
internet,
who are
yeah.
agreeing with the memes probably haven't even seen the fucking movie.
Yeah. I think, and here's what I noticed last night. I think it's really cool. There's a certain, and I don't know if it's the film they used or what, but action movies in the 80s were way more colorful, way more shot way more epically. Like if you look at Die Hard and Lethal Weapon, that looks like actual film. I mean, and it probably was, but I mean, just the lighting and everything. I'm like, this is an 80s action movie.
I have a theory on that. Nowadays, you can do everything in CGI, and you can
Yeah.
get your close-ups. You can get whatever angle you want just virtually. You don't need physical
Yes.
equipment to do any of that.
Yes.
Back then, you had 100, 200 guys working on these special effects.
Yeah.
So, you know what? You were going to get some wide shots of that shit to showcase the work.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Everything that was done, all the scouting
Yeah.
that was done. And that's the other thing that I noticed. Marion, and I know that you've probably seen this name, Marion Daughtry,
Yes.
She was the cast, the person who gets the cast, what do they call him?
Casting director? Yes.
Casting director. She did a ton of movies in the 80s. I always saw her name, and she always had such good casts. I don't know what happened to this woman, if she's alive or dead or what, but please come back.
Maybe she got canceled.
I don't know, but she got, because as soon as I saw the name, I was like, holy shit, like she's done half the 80s action movies that I know, and comedies too. But we're getting a little bit off track with the Christmas thing.
But there's a couple of traditional Christmas movies for you and a
Yeah.
couple of very non-traditional Christmas movies.
Did you like Krampus? Did you ever see Krampus?
I didn't see Krampus.
Krampus
I
is
keep
pretty
wanting
good.
to go back to that because the concept is fascinating to me, and that it digs into actual mythology surrounding the holiday.
There's two family films that I'll point out if your family's dysfunctional or in horror
God,
or
yes.
likes horror. I will point out Krampus, and there was another one that came out last year with kids alone it was like a Home Alone, but with violence. It was like a PG-13, I
Like
think.
Home Alone didn't have violence.
No, I mean, like-
he torched the top of
Like-
what's his name's head. He just,
Like horror type violence, you know what I mean? Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying, but they always say that was done from a cartoon standpoint. You know,
Joe
that's how they
Pesci's-
defend
if
it.
Joe Pesci's character was real, he'd still be scarred today.
Yeah, oh yeah, he would definitely. They would all have scars today,
Yes.
both him and Daniel Stern.
Right?
They would not. He'd still have that iron on his face,
Right? Still,
but
great-
yeah,
good shit.
I can't remember what that movie was called. If you know it, put it in the comments. Came out last year. But I might watch that tonight actually because I haven't seen it. But anyway, so other Christmas movies. I was thinking. There's some great comedies out there that are alternative type things. Like
There's one you just added to your thing. That's
Which one?
One of my favorites of all time, if not my favorite Christmas movie of all time. And
Okay.
that is Bill Murray's Scrooge.
Oh yes, that is.
I got.
I always
hammered.
forget about
we
that
had
one.
We had our friend's Thanksgiving birthday thing for my wife.
Yeah.
A couple weekends ago, and
Yeah.
and actually that was last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And while everybody was drunk and passed out, this time I wasn't sitting on the couch shirtless watching Conan the Barbarian at 5 a.m. I was sitting on the couch at 5 a.m. shirtless, passing out to Scrooged.
I love
Okay.
Scrooge. God, that is such a. You see, now you're giving me all kinds of ideas, and that's why I did. I think it was like
You wanna
$4.99 or
be
something. That's why I
watching
purchased it. But
TV at 5 o'clock in the morning, shirtless, watching.
no, I won't be doing that. But I do want to watch Scrooge.
Well, it had to be shirtless because even though it's fucking cold as shit right now,
Yeah.
that whiskey was just burning me out.
Well, that's what happens when you drink a bunch of whiskey.
A bunch of whiskey. We finished 4 bottles that night. That was ridiculous. I'm surprised we're still alive.
Oh my God, Fred, to be a young man again, and he's not
Oh,
even
I'm
that much.
nowhere-
Well,
I'm
he is
not young.
younger, about 10 years, whatever.
I'm 40.
Yeah,
so
10
I'm
years
not,
exactly. So
I'm not in my 20s anymore.
yeah. Wait till you get to be 50. You'll be like, I'm
Maybe.
tired of this shit.
Maybe, I don't know, because after doing the whole keto thing, I feel better than I even did in my teens. So we'll
Well,
see.
that's true too.
We'll see how it works. I'm trying to hack the bio code.
Yeah,
You know.
and I don't take great care of myself, so
I've been taking
I kind of eat what I eat.
less and less good care of myself as these last couple of weeks have gone
Well,
on.
it's the holidays, as we said.
That's no excuse.
Which brings us back to Christmas movies.
Christmas movies.
So anyhow, with Christmas movies, what a couple of the ones that I watched last year that I'm just remembering is, I don't know if you've seen any of these. Office Party Christmas is good. It's kind of a raunchy one. Jason Bateman,
Never heard
Jennifer
of
Aniston. Did you see?
I would watch Jennifer Aniston do anything though.
Yeah, she's
That
really
woman
good in it.
has-
Of course,
she has
when isn't
aged
Yeah, she
So well. She's
perfection.
like fine
yeah.
wine.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's just obviously cold in every room that she enters. I'm not going to say any more.
Now you got me off track completely.
That does happen when her tits are mentioned.
Twas the Night Before Christmas
the
with
Night.
Seth Rogen. Did you see that? Or
did
the
not
night
see that
before?
one
It's
either.
called The Night Before.
No, I didn't see
That's
that.
on my Vudu. That's a good one. Seth Rogen and who's the guy that plays in the Avengers? Anthony Mackie.
Anthony Mackie.
Mackie's in it, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And it's
Who is not
really
Robin.
good. No, he's not Robin. As much as you want him to be, or you people out there, or whoever.
me.
Did he say you people? Anyhow,
We're
so
canceled now.
yeah. So I'm trying to think of some of the other ones that I was watching that I was looking at.
There's so many holiday movies.
Harold and Kumar.
Oh,
Christmas is a great one.
It is.
Doogie Howser has an amazing, amazing appearance in that one
He's
again, and I think he does a
hilarious
singing
in
number in it
everything
too,
he
which is good.
does.
Oh yeah, Yeah, he's awesome.
He's the main reason that I watched the entirety of How I Met Your Mother in like a month.
Yeah, see, I never could get into that show.
I just loved
even
the
with
show.
him in it.
I loved the show. That was my era. I was their age
Yeah,
in that.
you're
time.
right. You're right. Yeah,
I was
yeah.
their age, and that's it. Just connects.
Yeah, I know my middle son watched it a lot. He loved it, and I just couldn't get into it. But it wasn't because I definitely would have watched it because of Doogie. What's his name?
Neil Patrick.
Neil
Harris.
Patrick. Yeah, I knew it was 3, and I couldn't remember.
NPH.
Yeah, NPH. That's right. But yeah, I think he does an incredible, if I remember right, singing scene.
Yeah.
And yeah, he does.
He also
in that
narrates
Christmas.
He narrates that Brain Games show that's on.
Oh yeah.
I forget. I don't know how long ago that was, but the first season of Brain Games, the first 3 episode season, like each episode's like an hour long.
Really?
Yeah, he narrates that shit.
Oh wow.
And I recognized him like immediately. We're watching that first episode. I'm like, is that fucking Neil?
Yeah, yeah.
That is Neil Patrick. You
Yeah.
can tell. He's a stage magician in real life.
Oh yeah, he's a part
He's
of the
really
Magic
fucking
Club in
good.
Hollywood, that one that you like only certain people can get into and everything.
Well, he deserves to be in it because he's really fucking good at
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Hey, so he's in the Christmas Harold and Kumar. I wish Cheech and Chong.
in all the
Why
Harold
didn't
and
Cheech and Chong ever make a Christmas movie?
They might have
That's a
done
missed
Christmas
opportunity.
album, but I don't think they did a movie. They might have done an album.
There could have been. Yeah, you could be
Because I
right.
think I've heard because they did Santa's Old Lady.
You're right. Yeah, I forgot about that. I was in radio. I should remember. We used to play that all the time.
know?
Yeah.
Still a little off topic, but not
It's
quite.
kind of a missed opportunity,
It,
though, I think. But
Since we're talking about albums that involve, it always struck me as odd, even as a child, that one of the most endearing Christmas songs of all time is about an old woman being mauled by a wild animal.
are you talking about "Baby It's Cold Outside"?
Well, now there are 2 atrocious Christmas songs.
Oh God! All right. Anyway, so which one are you talking about then?
Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
Oh, right.
We teach that to 5-year-olds.
Yes,
and
we
it's about
do.
a fucking old woman.
Yes,
it's about
we
a
do.
beloved family member being mauled to death by a fucking reindeer.
You are so completely right.
The only thing missing is a fucking line in the middle about scooping her fucking guts off the lawn. You know, she almost made it
jeez.
home.
Yeah. I did think that was funny. That was kind of interesting. That it was grandma getting.
I had a
think the
memory
first
of
time
being
I heard it, I was even like, "What they say?"
Right?
Or I can remember looking at my ex-wife or something and saying, "What?" Because that was around the time. Yeah,
I have a
was
memory
having
of being
kids.
like 7 years old in a fucking elementary school
man.
play singing that shit, and afterwards, like, what the fuck? You know?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some. There was another. I was trying to think of another Christmas song that Dr. Demento. What was I thinking of? There was a Dr. Demento Christmas song that was really good. And Weird Al, you did a Christmas song.
Yes, you did.
So I guess we got music out of the way now.
Christmas
So-
at Ground Zero.
Yes, and it's a great song.
It
and
really
Weird
is.
Al Yankovic's awesome anyway. So
He doesn't get enough love on XM.
he doesn't get enough love anywhere. I still don't think
He needs his
I
own
really
station.
don't. He
You know what?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, why not?
If fucking who was it? If Tom Petty, and I do love Tom Petty, but if Tom Petty can get his own XM station, I think Weird Al's put out more shit than he has.
Oh yeah, he has definitely. He's got a huge catalog
He
of
does.
just all, and you can even do the station with like artists that he mimicked too.
Yeah.
Play Like a Virgin and then play just Weird Al's Like a
Weird
Virgin.
Al's
kinda
greatest
cool.
hits
Yeah.
or something, just
Yeah.
or Weird Al's greatest picks, call it that, and just have all
Yeah.
the songs he's parodied. And I agree with the meme: if Weird Al ever dies, or when Weird Al dies, all these artists should come together and perform his versions
Oh yes,
of their songs.
Yes, he should, or they
would
should.
be awesome.
Yeah,
That would be awesome.
I think it would be incredible.
I would pay for that ticket.
Let's just hope it's quite a while before Weird Al goes.
I agree.
He's got another couple albums in him. It's just that it's kind of like I'm not understanding some of them now because I'm too old. Because I'm not into the pop music that he's. And I understand he still wants to be generational. He still wants to get kids attracted to it. But I can remember I bought the last album, which was a couple years ago, and I was like, "There's some songs on here I don't even know, man. I feel
haven't
old."
heard any recent shit. I think he should do a UHF too.
Oh God, I just watched that the other night. It was on
It's an amazing
something.
fucking. It's still one
I
of my
still think it's
favorite
great.
movies of
Yeah.
all time. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, Drinking Through the Fire Hose is my favorite thing.
I think of it every time I drive past TV 44.
Really?
I'm like, that
I
fucking building.
guess, yeah, I guess you could be
building is
right.
a tiny excuse
Yes,
for a fucking
yes,
TV
it
station.
is, it
and
is.
It reminds me of U-52.
That would be cool though to make a sequel to that.
It would.
Maybe even a Christmas sequel. So back to Christmas movies.
Christmas movies. There's so many Christmas. We get off topic a lot.
we
on here,
do,
but
we do.
It's fine. We always come back around.
I'm trying to think of some of those like not family friendly really, but some of the ones that I can remember like really. We haven't even talked about. Did you watch? What was their names? Bass and Rankin movies.
Oh, you mean like
which were the Red Rudolph?
and-
Yeah. Did you watch those?
As a kid, every year.
I still watch them. Sorry,
Every
but
year.
I love them.
Like
It's like my
I draw
Pixar.
references to that shit all the time too. Jim texted me one day last week because I had to be in Finley that day. He's like, "What are the roads?" Because this was after it snowed really heavy.
Yeah.
Overnight. He said, "What do the roads look like?" I said, "They look like the mountains where Yukon Cornelius lived in the fucking Rudolph seat." Well, I ended up having to go to work anyway. But
I like that reference though,
Right?
And I like the Heat Miser, and I like oh god, there's so many good ones.
Frosty the fucking Snowman.
Yeah. There's a bunch of those, and I loved those when I was a kid, and I still cherish them now. I think they were great little moments in history.
They get a lot
were,
of nods during those early episodes of Mystery Science Theater too.
Did they?
Whenever there's a claymation or obvious stop motion going on in one of their fucking movies, they draw attention. You know.
I remember they were the highest rented stuff at Hollywood Video.
That makes sense.
During Christmas, I mean, we
Back
never
then,
could
anyway.
keep them in.
I
Yeah,
bet kids today wouldn't fucking know what you were talking about.
I don't know. My kids do, but they were brought up on it.
You got to
I mean,
teach them right. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
exactly.
They're
You
only
gotta-
going to know what the parents teach them, and if the parents just sit them in front of fucking Barney all goddamn day, they're not going. Well, I guess Barney's not a thing anymore, isn't it?
No, I don't know if it's still on or not. I don't really care.
There's one we're neglecting.
What's that?
There's one we're neglecting.
Okay, let me
There's
see.
several we're neglecting.
There's several we're neglecting. I was kind of trying to think of some of the more. I got something on my cheek here. Sorry, I keep hitting me. It's Fred's sneezing fit, and
I'll give you a hint.
Nose itch.
I'll give you a hint. Merry Christmas. Shitter was full.
Oh well, yeah, of course. Christmas Vacation. One of the best.
Yep.
I can
And
remember
scene,
seeing that.
scene where the girl in the fucking bathing suit is diving into the pool. If you were to watch
Oh,
my
my
VHS
goodness.
tape of
Oh,
that,
geez, yeah,
if you
I'm
were to
sure
watch
it's
my
paused.
VHS tapes, there's a spot right at the beginning of that scene where it goes all wavy, and there's a spot at the end of that scene where it goes all wavy. Because rewind, play, rewind, play, rewind, play.
Oh, that's the one thing that Fred brings up about Christmas Vacation. Oh my goodness, I love
nothing-
Christmas Vacation, and I do watch that
I'm nothing if
every
not
year.
consistent. I'm
I
nothing
do
if
watch
not
that every year. Yes, you are. You're very consistent with that.
That was my mother's favorite Christmas movie. Actually, for a long time, I bought her a copy of it a few years ago. So
We're forgetting another one too.
we're forgetting. A lot.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. No, not that one. We're forgetting when you said Merry Christmas. It reminded me of that.
That was Home Alone 2, actually, wasn't it? With the recorder raised in the hotel room.
Was that one, or was,
was
it?
the
I thought that was in the first one.
Was that the first one?
I think that was yeah.
Did he
Yeah,
do
it was
it?
the very end thing that the guy in the video says. The guy in the movie says is "Merry Christmas,
See,
you
'cause I thought
filthy
he
animal."
was lost in New York in that one. I thought he was in the hotel room with that recorder playing that.
I don't know. Anybody in the comment section, leave a comment and see.
Was that one or two?
Yeah, was it one or two?
Yes.
And but
Home Alone, by the way, in case you don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
yes,
If you
and
needed that explained to you, then I'm not going to know the answer to the fucking question.
and Christmas Story. Are you a fan?
Christmas Story. I actually knew a guy who said he was in that. He was one of the elves.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and, Dennis.
Oh, cool.
I worked with him at a Blockbuster, actually, believe it or not, back in Florida before I got fired from
Yeah.
the fucking place. He was a great guy, too. After I got fired, he took me out to a strip club and bought me a fucking
Jeez.
like, here, cheer up, dude. You know?
So, are you a fan of Christmas Story though?
Not as much as everybody else.
Really?
I mean, I sit through it. I tolerate it. I don't hate it. It's not like the Chinese water torture that is Christmas music for me.
No,
But-
it's a very
And it holds a special place for my wife
really.
because she grew up watching it. It was on AMC,
Yeah,
looped
yeah.
all day that Christmas Day, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and my family, or my mom and dad, like I said, I went to tons of movies, and I'm not like, being an ass here and saying I saw it first, but really, my parents were into a lot of stuff before other people were, as far because I grew up in the theater, the local theater scene, as in like live theater, and then we always went to movies since as far as back as I can remember. So yeah, we really got into that movie, and we would watch it all the time. And then it became this big, huge success. And it was like, and by the way, do not watch Christmas Story 2 because it's absolutely horrible. The funny
I didn't
thing,
even know they had a 2.
the funny thing about that movie though is the guy who wrote and directed it also wrote and directed Porky's. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yes, he did. And he also wrote and
That's a
directed
hell of a
another
leap.
movie that was really famous, and I can't remember what the hell it was now.
That is a hell of a leap.
Right? And that's what I always thought. But if you think about it, though, it was set in the same time period almost. Porky's was like late 50s, early 60s, I think, maybe.
That's like saying the same guy that directed Hellraiser did the fucking Olsen twins direct
Exactly,
to video.
yeah, right.
Like, what?
Oh, my God. Remember all those Olsen Twins movies we had at Hollywood Video?
I remember how messy
so
that
many.
kids section was, and those were always the ones that were messed up the
Yeah.
most. What was funny about that, though, I remember I accepted the fact that the kids section was a wreck.
Oh, yeah,
I
always.
accepted it, but what I never ever got was that the top shelf on the new release wall always looked just as fucking bad as the kids section.
That's because that's where everybody chose from.
But it's like, this is what this is the reason the kids
Yeah.
section's fucked up. This is what you're teaching them.
Yeah,
that it's
exactly.
okay to just leave it like
Exactly.
that for us to straighten.
Oh God, we got to do a story sometime. We got to think back on it or something and do a story sometime on experiences at Hollywood Video and different things that because it's yeah.
There's some things that I've blocked from my memory because it was so traumatic. Like,
Really?
I remember we had like a level 3 snow warning once.
Mm-hmm.
It was to the point where legally you were not allowed to be
Yeah.
on the road unless you were driving an emergency vehicle.
Yep.
We were packed
Yep.
from open
Oh,
to
yeah.
close because these dumb fucks figured if we're not allowed to leave the house, we might as well have movies. But you gotta leave the house to get the fucking. We didn't have streaming back
I'm
then.
telling you now, no, we didn't. And I'm telling you what, every Christmas, I worked every Christmas at Hollywood Video. I do remember that. I usually worked in the
I did
morning
too.
because they demanded that the managers worked.
Yep.
So I can remember working Christmas, and I can remember always getting the first couple of people, I can't believe you guys are open for Christmas. And I'm like, we wouldn't be if you weren't here.
Whenever I worked in food service too, and I had to work on a holiday, I would even stand back behind the counter and say that all fucking day.
Yeah.
First fucking person that walks in here and says to me, "I can't believe you're open today. I want this, 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 and this." I'm going to say, "You're the fucking reason. If
Yeah,
you
you're
weren't
the
buying
reason.
this, we'd be at home right
Go
now.
home and spend time with your family for once.
They miss you. You're buying pizza too much.
Exactly.
Your family misses you."
Exactly. You're right. Oh, that was my little rant for a minute there. I just because that's what and Christmas does remind me of retail, and Christmas
God,
was
yes.
Christmas.
If you've worked it does.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, it's hard. So be kind to your retailers out there, especially since you'll probably be seeing this after Christmas. So when you go to make your returns and stuff, be even more kind because that's a vicious day. It's almost as bad as Black Friday, the day after Christmas. It's horrible.
Put it this way, I got $100 in Lowe's gift cards right now sitting at home, and I am not going to fucking Lowe's until holiday madness goes away.
I don't blame you. I can't say I blame
I
you.
don't care if I need a new goddamn paintbrush. I'm waiting. I'll finger paint.
Finger paint.
I'll finger paint a whole house before I deal with holiday madness shit.
Oh, goodness gracious. So anyhow, any more Christmas movies before we?
There's quite a few.
There are
There's
great
one.
Christmas movies.
There's one that I never know where to place it. I was going to bring it up during our holiday, or our Halloween thing.
Okay.
But I didn't really bring it up all that much, and I wanted to bring it up for this, but I think it deserves to be right in the middle. I think this movie deserves to be watched in November, and that is A Nightmare Before Christmas.
I never got into it.
I
Never
love
could.
the movie. I love the movie. I love Danny Elfman's singing in that movie. Tim Burton is an amazing fucking
Yes.
director. And it seems like it's actually part of a trilogy with his fucking Corpse Bride.
Corpse Bride I liked much better, actually, to tell you the
and
truth.
Frankenweenie, actually.
Yeah.
But this movie stuck with me as a kid. I never really made it past the first half of the movie when I was a kid, though.
Yeah. It's very subjective. I mean, either you're a
Everything
huge
is.
fan of it or either you don't like it at all or you hate it.
It resonates enough so
Yes.
that they remade the entire soundtrack with modern metal bands.
And that was kind of cool when they did that.
Really fucking
because I
awesome.
worked at Hot Topic for 8 years, and trust me, every year was Nightmare Before Christmas. We had the exclusive license on that when I worked there for a long period of time.
I remember.
Yeah, and we listened to the music all the time, and it was like, oh, I've heard all these songs. So then when I heard artists do, other artists do them, I thought it was kind of cool.
That is kind of
But
cool.
I just,
Although
the movies
it
just never
does remind
resonated with me.
I will reiterate that I think Fiona Apple should be put on suicide watch. Every song I hear her sing, it just makes me imagine her sitting in a bathtub with a fucking razor blade in her.
Well, that's the same with William Eyelash, too. So.
You got to understand what she's fucking saying first.
That's true. That's true.
She just mumbles through the shit. I don't know. I know like maybe 2 or 3 words and that's about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know any of the words, and I don't want to know any of the words. I know my kids listen, or my daughter listens to her.
It's
but
hilarious.
Yeah,
My wife texted me from work the other day, and she said one of her coworkers was giving her a fucking hard time, and she's like, and then blah 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 and blah blah blah, and then when I bring attention to it, I'm the bad guy. I said, duh. She said, no, you fucking didn't.
Oh my goodness! So yeah, I was never into Nightmare Before Christmas, but I do appreciate it for what it was. Like I said, the artistry in it is amazing, and I just like the Corpse Bride better. I don't know why; it just resonated with me better. You never seen it? It's really good. It's probably one of Tim Burton's best of those kind of movies.
Is it a musical as well?
No, not really. It's kind of a dark, dark tale of the Corpse Bride.
It's Tim Burton.
There might be some music in it, but I don't think it's like full of music like Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, there's still several ones that we're fucking missing because there's no way to cover all the Halloween.
No, there's no way
out there. Well, I did mention the one that was on Mystery Science Theater, Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, and that's fucking the very young Pia Zadora was in that. And it's basically.
I used to have such a big crush on her in the '80s when I was a kid.
Hopefully not in this movie because I think she was like 5.
Oh well, no. I'm sorry. No, okay. Yeah, no.
Because she was like 5 to 8 years old in this movie. And it's about Martian children are completely devoid of fucking emotion.
Yeah.
So the Martians come to Earth to kidnap Santa so that he can bring joy to all the Martian children.
I've actually seen this movie not on MST3K. I've actually seen it. Yeah.
I have to. And Riff Tracks did 2 versions.
Really?
At the moment, there are 3 riffs of this movie. There's the original Mystery Science Theater, there's the Riff Tracks version, and there's the Riff Tracks live version that they did. All completely different fucking tracks.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. It's just hilarious. That fucking scene with Chochim, the fucking old Martian that's just sitting there on the fucking toilet, like delivering.
Yep.
I love that.
It's such a bad movie.
It really is.
It's almost as bad as Manos.
Droppo. The laziest Martian on Mars.
Oh my goodness. I don't know where they get the ideas for some of this stuff.
Well, it was the 60s. There was a lot of acid going on.
What was the one? Who was... Oh, I was going to have you look it up. Who was in that Santa Claus one? Because, man, that's really jarring my brain.
There was one with Dudley Moore.
That's the one I'm thinking of. That's where he plays the elf?
Yeah.
Okay, who plays Santa, isn't it?
I have no idea.
See, I was thinking it was like, what's his name?
Santa's pretty changeable, if you ask me.
Elf's another one, too. Do you like Elf?
I cannot stand Will Ferrell.
What? Oh, that's right. You don't like Will Ferrell. Elf's good. I like Elf. I like Will Ferrell.
If I ran across a news article tomorrow that said Will Ferrell was burned alive in his own bed, I would probably laugh for a few minutes because that would be the funniest thing he ever did. Was burned to death.
How much have you watched of Will Ferrell?
Just about all of his shit because I'm married to somebody who actually liked him for a long time.
I still love him. Oh, that's the one thing that I wanted to talk about off topic, but I want to suggest it because I want him to do more of these. If you ever grew up or watch today, The Jeffersons, All in the Family, or Good Times. Okay, there is a show out that I just discovered on Hulu last night, and I guess it runs on ABC, and it's called... performed live before a studio audience or live before a studio audience. And I don't know how this got past me. I have no clue because it's All in the Family, a script from All in the Family reenacted, hosted by Norman Lear and Jimmy Kimmel, reenacted in front of a live audience. Woody Harrelson plays Archie. Marissa Tomei plays Edith.
How the hell did this get past me?
Exactly. There's all kinds of famous people in it. And the Jeffersons is amazing. Jamie Foxx plays Mr. Jefferson.
Jefferson?
He's so on key. I mean, not even. And I was thinking to myself, now are they
this is where?
Before it's on Hulu, but I think you can get it other places too. It's called Live Before a Studio Audience, and there's a Good Times one too, but I haven't seen that. And who plays? Oh, Jay Farrow, who's really good on SNL or was really good on SNL, a great imitator. He plays J.J. Walker, so I want to see that one.
Dynamite.
But it's not available on Hulu. The 2 that are available on Hulu are All in the Family and and Jeffersons. And the
I like that
Jeffersons
too.
is amazing.
I like finding things on Hulu that I can watch because the Oculus Go device that I have has a Hulu app in there, and you can set it to a virtual reality theater setting.
Oh,
So
really?
you can watch all of this shit. There's like you can look next to you, to the left and the right, and there's chairs with like
Yeah,
theater
yeah,
seating.
yeah,
and
yeah.
popcorn
Oh,
sitting
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I used
and
to
a
do
big
that.
theater screen up here.
Yep,
And
yep. I used to do that when
it's forced perspective, but it looks like you're watching it on a huge theater screen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is.
It's really
it is.
fun to watch movies that way.
Yeah, I bought Jed. Who the hell's Jed? I bought Dread in 3D on when I had my what was it, the Samsung Gear or whatever, and that was amazing. And I used to do the Hulu thing too. But
And I did Infinity War in 3D on my Oculus Go too. That was fucking fun as hell. Especially that scene when all the different mirror images of Doctor Strange like lash out on fucking and get those like energy whips wrapped around Thanos
I love Doctor Strange
from all directions. And
yeah.
I can't wait for Multiverse of Madness. That's gonna be fucking fun.
But at least I'll just get back real quick. At least check out the Jeffersons one because it's so good. It's really good.
Well. I had no idea.
It's only like 20 minutes long. Each one are only like 20 minutes long because they're regular sitcoms or whatever.
Right.
But like I said, I was wondering if they were going to do it like just regular people. But no, they're actually. I wouldn't even say imitating. They're kind of inhabiting the characters. They're really good.
It just sounds like they're performing the characters.
I mean, I was wondering how Woody Harrelson was going to do Archie Bunker, and when I saw the portrayal of it, which I didn't watch the whole thing on that one. I watched the whole Jeffersons.
So it's like their own interpretations.
Yeah, he does. He sounds like Archie. Like with Jeffersons, Jamie Foxx has the walk down, the George Jefferson, digging in walk. He's got everything perfect. I mean, they made him up to look like George Jefferson. Not so much makeup, but
he was an
he's
African-American
amazing.
icon for a long time.
Oh God, I loved Jeffersons.
I can imagine a bunch of African-American children running around imitating him.
Oh God,
kids,
yes. We imitated him in school. I remember. It was huge.
He was huge. That whole genre was just awesome.
Yeah. And so I want to see Good Times, and then there's a list for 20, not a list, but there's an update that's on IMDb says 2021, so they're 2020. Oh, wow. So they're doing some more, I hope. Nice. So I'm hoping they get some more. So yeah, check it out. It's on ABC and Hulu. ABC, whatever it is, their streaming service.
And if you don't want to go through the trouble of actually watching Die Hard this holiday season, like you don't have time, which is it's pretty prevalent right now. People don't have a whole lot of time anymore. Ask me, time's moving fast.
Well, everything's forced. You got to get this done. Got to get it. It's like a hurry.
I think it goes way deeper than that. But time's moving faster right now. So if you don't want to take the time to actually watch Die Hard, there's a thing on Netflix called The Movies That Made Us, and that's one of the episodes that's on.
I watched it.
They deal with Die Hard, and it was so informative.
Yeah, it was really. It was stuff
honestly,
I didn't remember
I forget the guy's name that played the cop.
The guy from Family Matters.
Who just keeps playing cops.
Yeah.
I honestly thought he was dead.
Did you?
Yeah, I thought he was dead.
Reginald Van Johnson?
Yes.
Reginald Van Johnson, yes.
Yep. That was him. And I thought he was fucking dead.
No, yeah.
They did the interview like, he's fucking alive?
Yeah. And I did start watching those. I haven't watched any of the other ones yet, but the Die Hard one's really good.
one was fun too. That was the first one I watched actually. And you can skip around on those. You don't have to watch them in order.
They're not continuations, So give me 2 recommendations for holidays for everybody.
That we haven't mentioned or
that we have mentioned or have, because I'm going to mention mine. And
all right, I'm going to go ahead and throw out that episode of Mystery Science Theater, not Conquers the Martians, the other one with Mike, the Mike episode just titled Santa Claus that had Santa versus the devil. It was just,
okay.
It was hilarious. And Scrooged.
Yeah.
And Scrooged.
I give you Scrooged. I give you Scrooged big time.
Like I said, I was hammered the first night I was trying to watch that. So I passed out about 15 minutes into the movie. And I slept through the night. Apparently, one of our guests got up and puked like 3 times. And
jeez.
I didn't even hear that shit. I was just passed out on the couch. So it was so bad that I didn't remember what it was I passed out during. The next, for 3 days, I'm like, what the fuck was it that I was watching? And then I'm like, well, let's see if Brett added anything on to fucking Voodoo. And I open it up and it's like, oh, there's Joker. And it was Scrooge. So I watched it again.
Oh, really?
Proper.
I think I might watch it tonight. I might talk the wife into watching it tonight.
It's a fun fucking movie.
My 2 suggestions are Lethal Weapon. I'm going to put, because Die Hard's already been, it's on its way to being, if it's not already considered a Christmas film, it's on its way. So the next one we got to get in is Lethal Weapon, because Lethal Weapon is definitely a Christmas film. Very much so.
Anything by Shane Black.
Anything by Shane Black. And my second recommendation is going to be, I want to say Scrooge, but I'm going to I'm going to cross with Fred, and I'm going to say the Santa Claus. I like it. I really enjoy it, and I think it's very clever.
To each his own.
It's family friendly and it's clever, and that's why I like it. I mean, so, but anyway.
Yep, and go see The Rise of Skywalker and try to see it through the filter of a child's eyes.
By next week, I will probably have seen The Rise of Skywalker. This is one that I will go to the movie theater, but I'm just going to go when there's like hardly anybody there, hopefully, which like early on a Monday or something. Well, now it's the holiday, so I'm going to, I don't know when I'm going to be able to go now.
We went and saw Endgame, and it was opening weekend, but I figured if we were going to the very first showing on Sunday morning, it wouldn't be that bad. So we got there 5 minutes before the movie started, and we had to sit way the fuck in the back, way in the fucking side, and could barely see the movie.
Jeez.
Or no. That was a movie before that. With the Endgame, we had to sit so fucking close that we were like...
I hate that. Oh, I hate that.
I still have a headache.
I've had to do that once or twice, and I can't stand it. Anyhow, anything else? Got anything else for the holidays or for anything else?
No, the wife's stuck by a train, so if you can think of anything else.
I don't know if I can.
I know, it's hard, isn't it? It's like, we have a list.
We do have a list. I don't know how much. I think I just put in.
We probably covered it all.
Only for reference. But I put something in there we go. We already mentioned almost all of them. Miracle on 34th Street, I never really cared for. That's one I didn't get into.
Or the remake, or the remake of the remake, or the holiday fucking, or the Hallmark movie remake of the remake of the remake.
Yes. I truthfully, honestly believe it was just kind of like a little girl's fantasy. So maybe as a boy, young boy, Jingle All the Way, my kids used to watch all the time. Love that.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yes, the Jim Carrey version I do like. A lot of people didn't like it.
I've never seen the Jim Carrey version, but the
original's fantastic. Yeah.
Too.
By the way, this time of year, Small Town Titans. I've mentioned it before. Look up Small Town Titans and look up Grinch. They have a great version of the Grinch song.
Gremlins.
Why are we not talking about Gremlins?
On my way here today, she said, "Don't forget to mention Gremlins."
Oh my! I can't even believe it. Now, how come that doesn't come up? It's listed in horror movies, and that's ridiculous.
Christmas horror movies.
That's ridiculous. That it's Silent Night, Deadly Night.
It's very much a Christmas movie.
Yes, it is. It is big time.
Right down to a cheesy fucking story about how Phoebe Cates' dad fucking died in a goddamn chimney.
Right.
They parodied that in Gremlins 2. Remember that?
I haven't watched Gremlins 2 in a while.
Gremlins 2
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. I love it.
Sequel/parody of the first one. I loved it.
Yeah, I did too. One of the other ones I see on there is Silent Night, Deadly Night. God, I remember how much flack that got back when it was released. It's a horrible movie.
I remember Jack Frost being...
I mean, it's good for what it was, I guess.
Jack Frost, there was two versions of Jack Frost around the same time. There was the cheesy fucking horror movie that we're seeing right here on the screen right now.
Yes.
And then there was the one with Michael Keaton titled Jack Frost, where he was a friendly. And it's funny because the covers of the boxes were the same, except one has a smiling snowman, and the other one has one with fucking sharp teeth.
And I actually like that. The Michael Keaton one is kind of cheesy, but it's good for what it is.
It's got heart.
It's family. It's family. Or oh my God, they made a Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2,
they made a 3 and 4, I think.
Jeez, that movie, the original. I mean, for the time, it was probably cutting edge horror. But I wouldn't say Gingerbread Man with Gary Busey. By the way, that's the one thing I wanted to say about Lethal Weapon. Rewatching that last night, I love to see Gary Busey as a psycho and not like the real psycho that he is now.
Right?
I mean, he's so good as a bad guy. I forgot how good he could act, and how as Mr. Joshua in Lethal Weapon, he is terrifying, man.
He really kind of was. So nobody knew who he was then.
No,
Mickey's Christmas Carol was one
that
I've watched as a kid.
Is it a good one?
It's on Disney Plus if you have access.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, that was one I watched every year as a kid.
That
was my first introduction to Scrooge McDuck. Which
I forgot Scrooge McDuck was in that.
Which every now and then
Polar Express.
Every now and then I'll just get on Disney Plus and play an episode of DuckTales so that the theme music gets stuck in my wife's head. She hates me for it. It's hilarious.
There's that I'll Be Home for the Holidays with Jonathan Taylor.
And yeah, there it is. Mickey's Christmas Carol. And yes, Die Hard does show up on the list.
Yes, it does. There's the other Jack Frost right there.
Yep.
See, they added the people to the bottom because it was confusing.
Yes, it really was. The same damn title, about the same fucking year.
Arthur Christmas.
Family friendly.
I'm tempted to watch this.
Grinch.
I really want to watch the Christmas Chronicles on Netflix only because what's his name's in it? Jack
Black?
No, not Jack Black. Oh God, why did his name? One of my favorite actors. Oh, the Peanuts Christmas special is always good.
And We can't forget Ernest Saves Christmas.
Oh boy, I don't think I ever saw that when it originally came out.
I remember loving Ernest Goes to Camp when I was a kid, and I remember absolutely fucking loving Ernest Goes to Jail because he was like a superhero in that movie. Every time he got shocked by something, he'd become Electro, and just
Stuntman Mike.
Stuntman Mike.
What was his name? What's his real name? That's the guy I'm thinking of. The Christmas. Kurt Russell.
Kurt
Why did I
Russell,
say
huh?
Jack?
I don't know how.
Is his name Jack
Because-
in Escape from New York? No, it's
No,
Snake.
It was Snake, and
Is it
you're
Jack and
thinking of-
something else?
It was in fucking goddamn it.
Is it
The one where he was a truck driver. God.
Oh yeah.
My brain is-
Hold on. Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China. Thank you.
Yes.
I was about to say the Asian movie because I couldn't. But that would have. Shit. I'm gonna get
Yeah, this
canceled.
is all family front. Beauty. Oh, that's Beauty and the Beast Christmas special. White Christmas. I've never seen. It's been recommended 1,000 times, and I've never seen it.
Did we need a Beauty and the Beast Christmas special?
I mean, somebody did, obviously, and kids probably. Home Alone 1 and 2. We
Was
went over
Die Hard
that.
2 actually a fucking.
I took place in an airport. That's all I remember. I don't
Right,
remember if it's Christmas oriented.
It's weird because I love the first Die Hard movie and I love Die Hard with a Vengeance, but I never remember what it's like. It's like the Expendables.
Yeah.
I never remember what Die Hard 2 is about.
My favorite Die Hard, Die Hard took place in the airport and the terrorists were doing something, but is it just considered a Christmas movie because it takes place in the snow? Because it's winter?
I'm not certain.
It might take place in Christmas. It's been so long since I've seen it.
Yeah, right.
The
I
one with
might need to
Samuel L.
watch it again.
Jackson is my favorite. Which one was that? The third one?
That was with the Vengeance, yes.
Yeah, that was my favorite.
Mine too.
Um,
They made a Santa Claus
yeah,
3.
I
That
told
was
you
the
that's
one. Yeah, that
horrible.
was the one
Martin
with
Short's
Martin
in
Short.
it, and he's like plays like a Jack Frost type character.
Yeah,
or whatever.
that's not the
He's-
Santa Claus movie I was thinking
No,
of.
that
was,
one is
That
horrible.
was Dudley
That's
Moore.
bad.
That was,
Yeah, Dudley Moore. I remember that one. I don't think I've ever seen it unless I saw it as a kid.
God, Santa Paws. You remember those fucking, how they had like
Oh my god.
all those movies that just starred dogs?
Yeah. Sure do. Yep.
They're still doing it, aren't they? They're still fucking doing it.
Oh boy. But I think we got. I mean, Christmas
Yeah.
Carol's a good one. It's been done 1,000 times. You pick your
Literally-
version. Yeah.
Literally 1,000.
I mean, Scrooge is a version of it. I mean, so
That's
you
my
know,
preferred version,
that's my preferred version. I would say
And if I
either
had to
that or the
pick a
Muppets.
Second, well, I haven't actually seen the Muppet one, but if I had to pick a second one, it would be Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
It worked.
I could say on that one. My favorite would be Muppets, but I'm interested now. I see Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol. I
I just
definitely
saw
want to see that.
Chasing Christmas?
There's the Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey. Did you see that one?
No.
Where it's kind of, I think it's animated.
Smurf Christmas Carol.
Smurfs Christmas
It's
Carol.
Christmas Carol.
Oh my goodness! Now we're
We're going
going.
to need to put a picture up for It's Christmas Carol.
Oh, we
with,
got. Is that Daffy down there with Bob Humbug or Bob Humduck?
I think so. Oh yeah. Is that old Carrie Fisher or current?
I don't know what is that. Carrie Fisher at all?
See, I'm wondering.
It's Christmas Carol. Oh, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, see the
it's
comma?
Christmas
See the comma?
Carol.
Grammar. Grammar.
I did. I don't have my
teach a
glasses
lesson
on. I
with this
couldn't
one.
see the comma.
Well, no, I was wondering if that was actually old Carrie Fisher.
I don't know.
or-
I've never heard of it. Never, ever, ever, never.
Kind of almost looks like fucking Bruce Jenner too.
It could be. Oh,
God damn it.
it's Christmas
No, it was
Carol.
2012. so
Anybody
he still
know
had a
about this
dick.
movie? Shh.
It was.
We're gonna get kicked off of YouTube. It's
gonna fucking do that
I'm
eventually anyway,
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm still cracking up at It's Christmas Carol
Right.
and American Carol.
Like I
that
said,
movie
you
is
need to-
horrible.
you need to do that fancy little thing where you put the picture up, where it like just put it.
Yeah,
up.
oh, I will. I'm cracking up about It's Christmas Carol. I really am.
Oh, I love it.
So now we're just looking at
Yeah.
kind of wasting time
just-
and looking at just
well,
different shit. Dennis the Menace Christmas.
I think my wife is. Here
I don't
now,
think
though,
that.
so-
Okay, well that's
Okay,
cool.
yeah, she's here. 2 minutes. So.
All right,
I
so
think we should wrap it up.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up. Good Christmas special. Merry Christmas to you, Fred, and your
Merry
family,
Christmas, Merry
and
Christmas.
unto you and all of our viewers, whatever you celebrate, happy whatever.
Merry Christmas, as they said, as Dean Pelton said on Community. Merry happy everyone.
That's a good one. I like that one. That one's kind of nonconformist or not. Well, not. I don't know.
They did a few Christmas episodes. That's one of my favorite shows of all time was Community.
I loved it. I loved it.
Fucking
Yeah, yeah. I miss it.
Dan Harmon can do no wrong.
Yeah. So yeah, Anyway, that's the end of the show, guys. We will see you next week. Don't know what we're going to be talking about yet, but I'm sure it'll be interesting. And
we'll figure it out. We always do.
We hope you enjoy. Thank you for supporting us. And it's the culture of pop.
Have fun.
Shut up and sit down.